This video contains information on survival bushcraft for educational and demonstration purposes only. Nothing in this video should be taken as a recommendation or endorsement of undertaking bushcraft survival activities or its suitability for any individual person or child. Participation in Outdoor Skills for Kids Proprietary Limited activities is outlined in the Terms of Service and Liability Waiver contained within the course information where you acknowledged, agreed and understood prior to and a prerequisite to participation in all Outdoor Skills for Kids Proprietary Limited activities. Hi, my name is Ty and I'm from Outdoor Skills for Kids, and today I'm going to show you how to make a Swedish torch without using the drill. The drill is much easier to use, but when you're out in the bush you're probably going to have your cutting tools, so we're going to make this log into a Swedish torch using an axe and a couple of cutting tools. So let me show you how it's done. Okay, so the first step we're going to do, we're going to split this log into quarters. Okay, we have that one in half, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut that in half over there as well. So we have 4 equal quarters. Okay, so now that we've got this log cut into quarters, we are going to cut out the center portion over here to make a hole. And to do that, what we're going to do is, this is going to be the top of the Swedish stove, or the Swedish torch, sorry, and we'll take the saw and we'll cut this section over here, and you use the axe just to clear off this middle section over here. So this is my folding forest saw. I keep this in my backpack. It's really good tool for bushcraft. It unfolds really easily. It's quite small, but it is really powerful. So it's a great little tool to have in your backpack. So I'll just show you how we're going to do this. We want to cut, this is going to be the top of the Swedish torch, so we're going to want to cut out a component over here, because that's where the top of the stove will be. So we have our 1/4. We've got a cut, probably I would say 2/3 of the way down from the top. And when we cut this portion off with the axe, that creates the weak point. It'll split over there, and then that will be the base of where our air channel will come through. So keep watching. It'll make sense as we go along, or perhaps make more sense as we go along. So as you can see over there, I made the cut about 2/3 of the way down, and used the axe to split it from the top. That section breaks off and leaves that platform at the bottom. So that we'll do this on each of the 4 sections. We have the center portion cut out, and what's left to do is we got to make our chamber on the side where the oxygen is going to come through and feed that fire. So the next step is we're going to cut a bit of a V notch into each of these two sides, and then that will provide that channel straight into the center of our Swedish torch. So I'll cut that out and then I'll show you what it looks like. And then the next step after that would be to use some wire to tie this all together. This is the view of our Swedish torch from the top. We've got the center portion cut out. So remember, we used the saw to cut that weakness in the base, and then that allowed us to chisel this piece of wood out, so that this now forms the top of our Swedish torch. And what I also did on the side of the one side over here is I cut this V notch in, and that connects to the base of where the fire will sit. So this over here will form our oxygen feeding chamber, so that when we burn through the center, the oxygen will essentially feed where my finger is coming out. So the only step that we have left to do is to use some wire so that we can tighten up the log at the top and at the base, and we will be ready to set this torch on fire. Okay, we've got this ready to wire together, compress. We've got the center channel, we've got the oxygen channel on the side, and I've got 2 lengths of wire. I'm going to tighten it up at the top, use the other one to tighten it up at the bottom, compress it and hold it firmly together. Okay, our Swedish stove is now firmly held together. We've got that center portion over there, and that's where we're going to be burning and fueling our fire. The hole on the side, that will be our oxygen source. That again will be fueling the fire. So remember the 3 main elements: we need fuel, we need a spark, and we need oxygen. So the only thing left we need to do with this is give it a test fire up and show you how well it burns. I think one of the different aspects with this particular design of the Swedish torch is that the joins are never quite perfect, depending on the kind of wood that you use. So there will be additional oxygen coming in through those gaps. So this torch should burn a little bit quicker because it will have a better oxygen supply. The best wood to use for these will be soft woods, something like pine or birch, something with essentially a lower combustion point, or lower flash point, because the wood will burn a lot quicker and a lot easier, and that is exactly the intent of these types of cooking devices or combustion when it comes to the Swedish stove or the Swedish torch. The Swedish torch is burning beautifully. As you can see, we've got that section where all the oxygen is free to flow to fuel the fire, and then burning through the center portion quite nicely. So this is where we can either cook from. We could put our cooking utensils over there, like our pot or pan. We just need to have a bit of a spacer at the top so we don't completely douse the fire from the top. But my preference is to use the tripod. I've got the two different Swedish torches. One that we used cutting the wood and splitting the wood, and the other is where we use the drill to drill that hole on the side through the top. Both work in the identical fashion, where we're providing fuel for the fire to burn, but also a point of where oxygen can easily access the flames. So we had two different ways of making the Swedish torch. One, we had the drill, where I drilled the hole through the side and through the top, and the other one, where we cut it through the side and through the top. Both work perfectly well. They're both really good, efficient ways to make a fire that is essentially concealed and concentrates that heat in. So I hope you enjoyed this videos and me showing you how I make my Swedish stoves and make really quick, efficient fires that I want to use when I'm out in the wilderness.